Hello, it's Ollie, aka Solo Cypher, here to do a little review on this book called Willpower, if you can see it in the light there. Willpower, and on the front, I think this is the English Penguin version. You've got a little person there trying to get at the marshmallows, and the marshmallows is a kind of famous image in psychology around an experiment which tested the willpower of children. They were given the opportunity to have a marshmallow. It was on a plate, and it was like, well, you can have this marshmallow now, but if you wait, don't have the one marshmallow now, later on you will get two marshmallows. And it was interesting to see how the kids basically distracted themselves or did other things in order to stop themselves, to engage their willpower to not eat the marshmallow and get the bigger reward later. What was interesting with this study, this was done with like preschool children, and they did a follow-up sort of 10 years later, and they found that the preschool children who offset the reward of the and basically earned the two marshmallows by engaging their willpower, or doing something to stop them getting that first marshmallow, they found that they were significantly better in terms of their health, their life, their wealth, their happiness, sort of 10 years later. So it's just interesting to show how willpower can be super effective. Now, this book is by John Tierney, who's a journalist, and Roy Baumeister. And basically Baumeister has done a whole load of experiments and research into willpower, and they've brought it together in a book called Willpower, which I have read and really enjoyed. So I just wanted to summarise, well, not really summarise, but just sort of review the final conclusions that come in the last chapter of the book around some kind of top tips that can help you with your willpower. So I'd highly recommend it. I listen to it like I do lots of books nowadays. It's kind of, I always feel a little bit bad. It's kind of cheating, but I enjoy it. And the other thing, before I get into the tips, I just wanted to show, so that's the English cover, the nice penguin, clean cut with the reference to the marshmallows. This is the American one, slightly more in your face in terms of what it's all about. Willpower, rediscovering our greatest strength. So I just found that quite interesting, the two ways of putting it. Willpower, it's like, oh, that's quite interesting. Oh, there's an interesting little chap on the front. I wonder what that's all about. Kind of the English audience, I presume. And the American version, willpower. And there's even some lightning bolts on the next to the willpower. So if it is our greatest strength, then we should know a little bit about it. So in order to understand willpower, first of all, it's important to know that it's kind of like a battery. So it's a resource that's with us, say in a day, but it can get depleted. It will get depleted over time or during the course of a day. So it's really important to work out, to use these tips to increase the efficiency of our willpower. Willpower is all about decision making. So basically, if we can reduce the amount of low-level decisions in the day, it means we've got more brain space, more capacity for willpower. So a good way to decrease the amount of decisions that you've got to make in the day is to organise your life. Really good tip, and I've been trying to take that on board recently. I have actually organised my library a little bit better. I was just realising it's a bit of a mess, these cardboard boxes, but these are actually storage boxes at the moment. Maybe I'll get a better storage and organising solution. But organise your life, so it means when you wake up, you're kind of ready to start the day, and you don't have to worry about a load of mess, a load of piles all over the place. Another recommendation is for Spark Joy, the Marie Kondo method of tidying and organising. So organising your life sets you up to not have to make so many decisions during the day, and reduce temptations. So if you're faced with, right, shall I have a donut or shall I have a bowl of fruit in the morning for breakfast? Straight away, you're going, you're using up, like I said, that battery of willpower. You're going, ooh, shall I have the donut? Oh no, I'm going to be good. I'll have the fruit. Ooh. The idea with this reducing temptation is that you don't have the donut in the house in the first place. Don't have it in your house. Therefore, you reduce the temptation. Therefore, you're up, you're ready to go. You're just eating your bowl of fruit. You haven't even made the decision to eat the bowl of fruit. It's just there because that's your option. Saying that, I need to go and get some more fruit. I've got fruit there. I still don't eat it. I need to eat the fruit. But basically, reduce the temptation of the bad stuff. Doing all of this will help sort of reduce some of your inner conflict, like I say, for when it comes to the rest of the day, when you've got to make kind of more serious decisions, you still have energy and willpower to do that, because your inner conflict is you're kind of more chilled. And there's another book I've been reading. It's all around the method of GTD, and GTD stands for getting things done. And the idea of getting things done is that you actually have a mind like water, so you can be really chilled all the time, because your subconscious is aware of all the loops and all the things that swill around your mind quite a lot. They're kind of taken care of. So it's about closing the loops, i.e. if you have got loads of things that are going around in your mind that you need to get done or whatever, let's get them all out your head. Get them out your head, get a great big to-do list and shove it all down on a great big to-do list. Organise it, the getting things done method is, I would again recommend. But it does help to get kind of some of that mental stuff out of your head onto paper, so then you can have a clarified mind, reducing the inner conflict. That kind of tends to happen in all of our brains, again, in order to preserve your willpower. So the next part is around having effective habits and routines. So again, this leads into trying to be organised. I feel such a fraud getting on about organisation. It's such a messy area, but there's a bit of method to this madness of what you're seeing in my background. Very self-conscious, but establish effective habits and routines. It's that same thing about reducing the level of decision making that you've got to do during the day, if you've got some good habits and good routines to be effective in whatever area of your life you're talking about. So for me, I like running, so it's important to have a routine around the exercise of running, in terms of I know what I'm doing. So a lot of the time I'll have a marathon plan that I will just work through, and I'll get the plan, transfer that into my diary. So I wake up in the morning and I go, right, I've got to run 4 miles today. Off I go and run 4 miles. I don't have to go, how far do I need to run? What have I got to do? How fast have I got to go? And that has been very, very useful for me in the past. At the moment, that is a bit of a tricky one, because under lockdown, there's no races coming up. So it's harder to plan for stuff where there's not other people around, because that's what gets me excited. But I can still put into my diary a plan around how many miles I want to try to do. So creating that habit and routine is important. And there's loads of things around habits that, there's tons of videos out there. But one I would recommend in terms of building habits is, I've forgotten the exact word, but it's like stacking. So stack a habit together. So if you already do something that's quite useful, see if you can add in something else. So I already have developed a habit of meditation, and I started that through doing it a very small amount of meditation, and that's extended a little bit. So I'm doing an average of 10-15 minutes a day of meditation. What I then try to do is to tack on a little habit of doing some press-ups. So do 10 press-ups at the end. So I'm sitting down anyway to meditate. Once that's finished, get up, just try and do a few press-ups, knock them out, because I hate doing press-ups. Knock a few out after meditation, and then you feel quite good. It's like, hey, I meditated, done a few press-ups. So try to develop some habits which will help you and make you feel good, so it kind of increases your level of willpower, and you don't have to make a decision, because you've kind of created it as a habit that you just do automatically without having to make those conscious decisions. So the point of all this kind of organisation and creating routines and whatnot is so that you can avoid crises, because the premise of the idea of willpower is that, oh, you need lots of willpower to get through crisis. But Baumeister is kind of arguing in the book is that by developing tidiness, organisation, effective routines in life, and preparing for different eventualities, is that you're actually going on the offense, and that means, in terms of you're going on the offense in terms of your willpower, it means that crises are actually less likely to happen. Firstly, that's the most important thing, and then secondly, even when crises do occur, because life is life, you'll actually be in a better place to be able to respond to those crises. Okay, we're 10 minutes in, so I'm going to whiz through because I don't want to be here all day. I don't want you to be here all day. I want you to take this away and put it into your life if you can, if you find it useful. So go on the offense. So it's all about this organisation and habits. It's about going on the offense, which means you're not constantly reacting to stuff. Reacting to stuff will take away your willpower, use up your willpower. So if you're on the offense, you're doing things, you're sorted, and your stress levels go down. You'll have more willpower, like we say, for the important things. So it's easy to say, but don't procrastinate. So avoid procrastination, and this is one of the most trickiest things that people suffer with. I suffer terribly with procrastination, but I'm working to try to avoid it. And one of the tips that came in the book from Raymond Chandler, if you know your crime novels, Raymond Chandler is a really excellent crime writer, but he was basically like, right, in order for me to write effectively and to write enough, I need to spend 4 hours a day writing. But he realised he couldn't force himself to do 4 hours literally of writing. So he came up with a strategy, which was, I write or I do nothing, which is weirdly, counterintuitively, really effective. So basically, you're not allowed to do anything else. So you set yourself a time slot, 20 minutes, whatever, and it's like within that time slot, you're going to work on something or you're going to do nothing, but you can't do anything else. That's the key point. So, and weirdly, what happens is that it's something called the Zeigarnik effect kind of kicks in, because when you're sitting there and you're doing nothing, you're like, well, I can't do anything else. I've got this thing that I need to work on. It's kind of like your brain starts going, oh, all right then, let's do it, and it will kind of give you the inspiration to do what you need to do, through the mechanisms of how the brain works, which no one really fully understands. But yeah, that's an interesting strategy that I'm trying to use. And just with that, with the Zeigarnik effect, I also use the Pomodoro method. Pomodoro meaning literally tomato. If you set yourself a timer, so I set myself a timer for 20 minutes, and it's like you just work on the important thing that you need to work on for 20 minutes, no interruptions. When the timer goes off, you also have to stop doing what you're doing, go and have a break, force yourself to have a break again, because then weirdly your subconscious will keep working on the thing for you that you've been working on. So when you then come back to work again, so it's really important you have that break, let your subconscious mind do some work for you. When you come back to the project, 9 times out of 10, you'll be more inspired to do it. So, slight diversion, but it's all in the same area of building your willpower. Let's go. So don't procrastinate and control your impulse to do something else. So, and that's quite a nice one. Just do nothing, because it's quite easy to do nothing. It's like, well, I should be making this video, but actually I want to go and get a coffee. No, don't get a coffee. Finish the video. Or do nothing, or I could just sit here. Well, that'd be pointless. So, right, last little bits. Know your limits. Now, this is a difficult one because sometimes we don't really notice it. So try to sort of be aware of your energy levels, how tired you are during the day, and if you feel like you're running out of willpower, running out of mental energy, just have a break, have some sleep, have a little rest. And importantly, make sure your nutrients are up to scratch. So get some protein in if you can. Get some protein in. and sort of recharge your batteries with a little rest. That is really important, and good sleep is very important in all of this. It's kind of very sort of fundamental. Get organised, get your life organised, have good habits and routines, and your sleep habits and routines are super important. Again, another one that I struggle with, but I'm working on. It's all a big work in progress. Okay, so just to remember, your self-control is weakened by making decisions. So if you can set your life up to reduce the number of like mundane, boring decisions, that's going to increase your self-control during the day. The classic example is, what's his name? Zuckerberg, always wearing blue jeans. He's always got like a kind of outfit. Same with Steve Jobs, like the same outfit. So they don't have to make a decision about what they want to wear. I mean, that's kind of to the extreme. If you want to do that and you don't care about... Aha! Perfect example. Sorry, little glitch there. So just finishing off the video, I was rambling on and it cut me off because I'd run out of storage space, indicating the importance of having little habits and routines to organise not just your physical space, but your digital space as well. So if you know your phone or whatever has only got limited amounts, do a regular backup storage, all that good stuff. So I kind of mentioned the importance of willpower during the day being depleted. It's important to rest, sleep, but if you've got a big decision to make, see if you can get some glucose into your brain, eat some protein, before you make a big decision, especially towards the end of the day when your willpower is likely to have been reduced. So all of this is fine in terms of, okay, we need to make more habits. It's important to realise we shouldn't try to force ourselves to make more habits if we're really stressed out, if we're doing loads and we're stressed out. Try to work on just kind of the tidying, I guess, the tidying aspect, or getting things out of your brain, closing the mental loops that are frustrating you. And once you've kind of got that all out of your head and you've got at least a vague plan of what you want to do and to organise, then try to look into creating some new habits. I would recommend Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you want a whole book on habit creation, I'd highly recommend that. That's helped me an awful lot. I think that helped me with my starting my meditation habit, or restarting it. So that's really helped me. So there we go. And the last note I've got here from the last chapter, like I said, willpower. I would recommend reading the whole book so it can really get into your head. But the last little point was to have an annual reflection. So or to have kind of some big goals that you want to try to achieve, because otherwise, what's the point of curating willpower? I've got all this willpower to do what? Well, but create some goals, create some long-term goals, and then some short-term goals, and then on a daily basis, use your hopeful willpower to knock off a few things off of your to-do list in order to hopefully achieve your bigger goals. And with those bigger goals, it's important to reflect on them. So at least annually, at least once a year, have a little annual reflection. So if you deciding to do this today, to make a little start, think about what you want to achieve in a year or 5 years, and then this time next year, February 2022, see if you can revisit it. Put a little note in your Google Calendar or whatever. Anyway, I hope that's been useful. I've been waffling on, and yeah, if it's been useful, give us a little like, or if you'd like me to cover something else or a different book or whatever, just put a comment underneath. Until next time, we out of here.